What's up, everyone? Welcome to Wingman Wednesdays. I'm Cruz. Hope y'all are having a good day. Now, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about Air Force boot camp. Now, this isn't one of those episodes where we talk about how harder or how easier it is than any other branches. Now, I'm just going to be sharing my experience with y'all and letting y'all know what to expect. Alright, let's get started. So you decide to join the Air Force. Well, everybody's got a story, and you got to figure out what yours is. Or don't. Sooner or later, you'll find out real quick why you decided to join, why you decided to stay, or why you decided to get out. Well, for me it was tails. Flipped a coin and it landed on tails. Heads, grad school. Tails, military service. For some people it's not that easy of a decision. For other people it's the only decision. So you have to figure out your story. And you have to figure out your reason why. So there's going to come a point where you know your life is going to be different after. And it's a scary thing. So, first thing, what's your story? The next thing is are you physically fit enough to join? Air Force fitness test is broken up into different categories where you have to meet the minimum. There's the push-ups, the sit-ups, the waist measurement, and the 1.5 mile run. The next thing is acclimating yourself to the military schedule. So you're gonna start your day typically at 05, and you're gonna go all the way until TACP's place, which is 10 p.m. or 2200. Now, while you're in boot camp, you're not gonna have access to coffee, energy drinks, sodas, junk food, any of those things. They're gonna purge all that out of your body. Your schedule is gonna be packed. You're gonna have PT, you're gonna have classroom, you're gonna have the basic military fundamentals, military history. You're not gonna have any real personal time. Now, during that time, you're not gonna have a nap time. I don't care what the other branches say, the Air Force does not have a nap time. Because the hardest thing that you're gonna face is fatigue. It's meant to be exhausting. You're gonna be tired all the time. You're gonna have people that are standing up, falling asleep, in formation, falling asleep. The one thing that every veteran knows for a fact is that in the military, you'll learn to fall asleep literally anywhere doing anything. Reporting statements, reporting statements, reporting statements. Now, this is the statement that you say when anybody that is not in your flight or not in your brother flight or your sister flight, anyone says anything to you, it is the first words out of your mouth. It better be the first words out of your mouth, because if not, you're gonna find out training reports as ordered. Training reports as ordered. Always. Get that down, your life will be simpler. Now, other great prep videos have been put on by Gott. Gott is like the OG Air Force YouTuber. He's got way more videos, way better made than this one. It tells you what to pack for BMT, you know, what your security locker is going to look like, what your locker should look like, and gives a lot of great advice going through boot camp, going through tech school, and just general Air Force knowledge. I definitely recommend you guys check out his page and subscribe, and check out all the different videos that he's got. It's great material. Definitely check it out. So those are the things that you would need to know to prepare yourself physically and mentally for Air Force boot camp. Oh, sneaker week. Sneaker week. You just got there. Your ass just got off of the bus. You ran up onto some little yellow footprints, and you're gonna be running around in your sneakers, and you're gonna feel really dumb and out of place looking at all of the other guys that are weeks ahead of you in their uniform and with boots on, looking nice. Now, it never gets easier, you just get better at it. So, if you're like thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna get used to it, it's gonna get easier, you're like, no, because every week brings something new. And you're just gonna be tired all the time. This week just sucks. You're getting used to the military schedule, you're getting used to your schedule, PT, classroom, having to be marched everywhere, you know, learning the different personalities that are in your flight and where you mesh in with everybody. It's just a very chaotic week. Biggest piece of advice I can give you right off the bat is put all your BS aside. Put all your pride, all your machismo, all that stuff, just throw it out. The sooner you guys come together as a flight and as brothers, the easier everything is just gonna be. Like, I had my flight and we talked about everything, we meshed well, we squashed any stuff that came up, and just weeks into boot camp. And I had my brother flight dorm chief asking me, he's like, hey man, how do your guys get along so well? His guys are always fighting. Like I said, just put your pride aside, work as a team, and everything just gets easier. This is also around the time where you get your job. Now everybody has a job in BMT. Now that ranges from the guy that, you know, sweeps up all the dust bunnies to the dorm chief is the big dog of the flight and the leader of everyone. You have your guidon, the guy that carries the flag, and you have your element leaders who are in charge of you, whatever element you're lined into, whatever line you're lined into. You have a chow runner, big shout out to my homeboy Wolfram, who basically just announces that you are now able to go in and eat. I'm sure there was a lot more to that, but I mean, that's kind of what I remember from it. Then you have your dorm chief, which that's what I was. And it wasn't an easy job. You get blamed for everything. You are constantly stressed out. You got guys that are just like, what? You got guys coming in from all walks of life, all parts of the country, and you're living under one roof, and this guy is responsible for all of the shenanigans that go on. It's stressful, it's exhausting, but I had an awesome flight, and they made my life easier, so I always had their back whenever it came down to it. You're sitting there just minding your business, and then you hear the TI just yell, dorm chief, why the fuck is so-and-so doing so-and-so? Why is this guy doing this? Why is this guy doing that? Where is this guy? Yeah. This is also the time when you get your first military haircut. It doesn't matter if you shaved your head or not. They're going to take you over there and they are going to give you the roughest haircut you've ever got. Oh, you got a mole on your head somewhere and it sticks up any amount? You better put your finger on it, like real fast, because they're there to cut your hair and any other surface that sticks out, get you in and get you out and get you gone. And for some people, that's when it hits them. They're like, oh my God, I'm really here. This is really my life right now. Like, that moment hits people at different times during the military process. Now, I don't care what anybody says. Everybody cries at one point in their boot camp. Everybody does. If you hear a guy say, oh, I didn't cry, that's bullshit. No one saw him cry. He just didn't get caught. That's the only thing about it. For most of the people, it's that first real phone call that you have with your family. You know? And I talk to a lot of the guys in my group, in my flight, and it was all the same thing. Like, you talk to your brother, you're good. You talk to your dad, you're good. You talk to your significant other, you're good. But the second you talk to mom, like, oh, you lose it, at least for a little bit, you know? But everybody cries. Don't be ashamed of it, but move on. Put it there, let it have its moment, and move on, because you will literally not have time for that shit. This is also the week where you do a lot of admin stuff. You're filling out paperwork, you're sitting there, and there are people falling asleep, filling out forms that they need to get right, because these are the basic forms for the rest of your military career. Now, your typical BMT day is going to be you wake up, you go down, you do PT, you're either doing calisthenics that day or you're doing all cardio, and it just alternates. So you're going to get placed into different categories on your fitness level. The guys that just barely made it in and passed the bare minimum PT test, they're put into this one. You know, the athletes, the guys that everything is easy for, get put into this spot. Now, the goal of the mission is to take these guys and make them as good as these guys, and take these guys and make them the absolute best that they can. These guys are the ones that are going to go on to do battlefield airman jobs like PJ, CCT, TACP, you know, all those special operations jobs. That's where they're going to be. Now, I'm going to advise you, the months before you come to boot camp, don't go and build muscle. Concentrate on running. You're going to concentrate on cardio predominantly the entire time that you were there. Once you're done with PT, you're going to come up and everyone's going to be running to the showers and clean themselves up, and then right after that, it is time for everybody to clean up the dorm. Now, if you're put into a leadership role, don't just supervise. Get in there and help your teammates out, because that's what it is. It's a team. You're going to end up doing everything together, or you're not going to do anything. You're either going to succeed together or you're going to fail together. And if that means you meeting up with Elmer Fudd on the bottom, chasing all them dust bunnies with them, then that's what you got to do. Everyone's got a job, and you'll have to rely on each other to complete these jobs, because if one person messes up, the whole team, the whole flight messes up. That concept is the simplest way that it translates into the military culture. Once that's all done, everybody gets into uniform and heads down into formation to go into the dining hall. Now, once you head into the dining hall, don't look around, don't talk, because the MTIs are going to be there, circling everybody, waiting for you to slip up. Once you sit down to eat, go ahead and gulp that cup of water down and start eating as fast as you can. Because once the table next to you is fully seated, it is your turn to get up and leave. And sometimes that comes really fast. So you're just gonna have to lick a biscuit and get out. Once you get in there, there's gonna be an airman to your left and an airman to your right. And your sleeves are just gonna be rolled up, and you're stepping forward, shot, shot. Stepping forward, shot, shot. And depending on your job, you may get some more shots than other people do, but everybody is gonna get the peanut butter shot no matter what. It's called the peanut butter shot because you can feel it going into you, and it feels like peanut butter because it's so thick. That shot messes people up, and they can't walk for like a day. In those first few weeks, you're going to be learning the lingo. Besides your reporting statement, which, if you remember, is trainee reports as order. Next thing you'll learn is when you're getting into your dorm is everybody has to check ID, and the guy that's standing guard at the door will sit there and be like, please, one white common access card. And I don't remember if you get your CAC right off of the bat in boot camp, but that phrase is said every single time you enter the dorm. Now, the reason that they tell you to do that and check everywhere outside. You'll have some of the MTIs from different squadrons, and they'll sit there and they'll intimidate their way into the dorm, and you do not want that to happen, because then your day and your entire flight's day is going to be ruined by some guy you probably never seen before, but he's got that wheel hat on. By week 3, you pretty much have the schedule down. It's going to be on repeat, and you're quickly going to lose track of what day it is or what time it is. I think the only thing that keeps you focused and lets you know what day it is what's being served in the dining hall. I think grilled cheese is something that's served only on Sundays, if I remember right. You'll also have to be on the lookout for raids, which mean the MTIs are going to start coming at night. And if you're sitting there underneath the blanket with your Lackland laser, if they still have those, or a flashlight or whatever it is, writing a letter, oh man. If you're on night watch, if you're the night guard, again, you have to remain vigilant. You have to be ready, and you have to be checking everything. Not too long after, you're gonna visit the gas chamber. And the gas chamber is gonna suck no matter what. There's nothing I can tell you that'll prepare you for the level of suck that your life is gonna have. All I can say is breathe it all in and then spit out your reporting statement. So, just like a Band-Aid, just rip it off and be done with it. Now, if you're one of the individuals that happens to go to boot camp in the middle of a Texas summer, your sweat is gonna make it hurt so much more. Now, around the 4th week, you're gonna get your nameplate. You know, it was a moment when you got there. It was a moment when you got your haircut. There was a moment when you got your ABUs, when you got your uniform. And this is that moment that you look at your uniform and you see United States Air Force, and then you see your last name on there. And then I remember when I got mine, I took that moment and I was looking at it, and then I remember looking up at the rest of my flight, and they were all doing the same thing. At any point you were worried that you had made a mistake, seeing your name on that uniform changes your perception. And that's important, because that's going to set the tone for the rest of the time that you're there. Now, like I said, it doesn't get any easier, but every week they throw something new at you. By the end of the 4th week, you've been to the obstacle course, you've been to the gas chamber, you had issued your weapon, you fired your weapon, you've been through FEST, you've been through combatives training, you've done a lot, and now you're about to go onto Beast Week. I don't know what they call it now, but when I went through it, it was called Beast Week, and it's basically a mock deployment. You're also going to be issued your battle rattle, which is your vest, your helmet, pads, gas mask, and you're going to have this stuff on all the time. You're going to have to fire with that stuff on, and Lord knows if you're there in the summer months, it's going to be black flag, meaning the most intense heat, which you're going to be out in a tent with all the gear on in probably 100-degree weather. You're going to be in that mock deployment scenario, which means you're going to be there with your flight and your brother's flight, and I think 2 other flights. Now, your flight basically now grew into a squadron, and all of the same hierarchies are going to come down. There's going to be, instead of a dorm chief, he's now the zone leader, which the zone leader will be chosen from all the dorm chiefs. Element leaders, same thing, all the way down. And being recycled is like one of the worst things that can happen to you, because the rest of your flight goes on and you basically get gutted out of there and placed into a new flight weeks pass. So if your flight is on week 4 and you get recycled 2 weeks, you're placed into a new flight 2 weeks back. So you are now doing week 2 and week 3 over again, and then catching up to week 4. And by then, they're probably already going to graduate. It happens more often than you think, and it's heartbreaking for the person that gets recycled as well as the flight. The biggest thing that I personally learned in boot camp was it felt like I was constantly being humbled. Because prior to that, I was always responsible for myself and the things that I did. And now I was put into a situation where I was responsible for things that people said and did. So it felt like every day, every week, I was just being humbled over and over and over. Now, I don't know how the MTIs choose their dorm leaders or their element leaders or any of the jobs. Some people will naturally evolve into those spots. And other times, it's the tough guys and the people that have a lot of pride that get put into these leadership positions. If they're an amazing athlete and fitness is no problem to them, they'll be put in charge of other people that fitness is their biggest challenge. Again, I can't harp on it enough. Come together as a team. Identify the weak points and identify the strengths. And do your best to help each other out. Well, you finished Beast Week and now you're headed back to the dorms. And you're ready to get back to your dorm. If you thought life was bad in the dorms, when you're out there during Beast Week and you come back and you see your dorm, you're so relieved to be back, because your dorm becomes your home, and it is one of the few places that you can feel at least a little bit comfortable in. Now, weeks 6 and 7 are going to be packed with drills, classes, studying. You're going to be practicing open ranks. You're going to be finishing up on all those last admin details that you'll need for graduation and for your Air Force career. And finally, your PT tests. Now, up until that point, you'll be getting a mock test every week to gauge how much you've progressed. You're encouraged to go all out. However, all that is for bragging rights. So concentrate on the run is usually what does a lot of people in, or concentrate on the area that is the most challenging for you. If you're great at running, use most of your strength for push-ups and sit-ups. If you're great at push-ups and sit-ups, then do as many as you need to without maxing out too hard, and concentrate on the run. During this time, you'll also be getting a lot of morale items made, like your flight t-shirts, hoodies, any of those things that you guys are wanting to do. Because you're already at the finish line of boot camp, some people will get complacent and the night raids will pick back up. So don't think just because you're close to the finish line that you can slack. Finally, it's Airman's Week. It's graduation week. Your blues, you'll be wearing those most of the time. You'll be practicing for your graduation ceremony, for the Wingman Run, or Airman's Run, I don't remember what it's called. But you will get in formation, you'll get in your PT gear with your flight shirt, and you will run around the base, and your family will be there to see you run by, and they'll cheer you on. And they'll also be tallying up all your scores from your open ranks, your tests, your PT, and they'll be assigning warrior flights, and all these other awards that your flight may have earned up until that point. For the entire time that you were at boot camp, your you're being evaluated. And these last awards like Honor Flight, Warrior Flight, all those things are a culmination of all those points being added. And a lot of those flights get an extra family day, which means that they get to leave the base or they get to leave the squadron and spend that time with their family that have arrived for graduation. And you may be asking yourself, what about people that didn't have anybody show up for their graduation? And it happens. That's an unfortunate thing. However, those members are given a city pass. And most of the time, for those individuals, people within the flight will extend out an invite for them to join them and their family going out into the city of San Antonio and enjoying yourself. Also in San Antonio, they have a lot of military support functions going on, which means that those people may have a free pass to get into Six Flags, to get into watching the San Antonio Spurs play or whatever sports team is going on and having a game during that time. It's a big ordeal. The whole base pretty much shuts down in celebration of a new airman coming into the Air Force. You'll get your airman's coin. It's a little thing. It's really just symbolic of how far you've come. For most people, it holds a lot of sentimental value. I know it does for me. And then you get back to the dorms, and from what I remember, you have like a day or a couple of days before everyone has orders and leaves the dorms. You still have to abide by the schedule. No one's hounding you anymore. You're able to relax a little bit. And your reporting statement changes. And it is no longer training reports as ordered. It is now airman reports as ordered. And a lot of people get corrected because you're an airman now. You are an active duty member of the United States Air Force. At that point, it's just you're swapping information, you're getting emails, you're getting phone numbers, you're connecting social media, whatever you can, because you didn't have access to any of that stuff. And slowly but surely you see your brothers leaving. That's just a moment that you're gonna relive over and over through your military career. Getting this close to these people and then never seeing them again. Me coming from a civilian family and being the first one in my family to join the Air Force, it takes some getting used to. A lot of other people that are military brats, they grow up that way, so it's not that big of a deal to them. But you just enjoy those last hours with each other and listen to music, swapping stories. I was the part of the last group out, and I was the last one out of the dorm. And I remember taking a walk through the dorm and turning off the lights. And if you hadn't come there with your story figured out, your story starts to take shape. And you remember these people for the rest of your life. You may not stay in touch with them. You may forget their names, but you remember their nicknames, or you remember, oh, we had this guy. But social media allows people nowadays to stay really well connected. And you realize how much you've changed in such a short amount of time, and your family will see it. And it hits you. That was chapter 1. Then you hop on that bus and it's now on chapter 2, tech school. But we'll have to hit that up next time. Well guys, that's it for this episode of Wingman Wednesdays. I hope you guys found this information beneficial to you. Alright guys, I want to hear from y'all now. I'd like to hear all the crazy stories of the individuals that have actually gone through Air Force boot camp, or any questions that you guys may have. Be sure to leave all that information in the comments down below. Well everyone, this is Bruce of the Waha asking, hey, where's your wingman? You guys take it easy.